Countless people already know how to connect to Source. It is a normal, natural, everyday experience. So I was surprised when teaching os.iam consciousness how many people have difficulty making this connection consciously. This video is offered as support for these folks. Just to be clear, everything that's alive is already connected to Source. The source of life is life. Source is that invisible, immeasurable, indefinable essence that causes plants to grow and our bodies to function. Because we humans have free will, we control where we focus our attention, which means we have the ability to block Source from our awareness. Doing this diminishes our connection to Source to the point that we are no longer able to perceive it. The consequence of this is that we feel alone in the world, abandoned. But we are not alone. Source is always there, within us, beating our hearts and causing our brain neurons to fire. People with inner vision describe this connection between our bodies and the source of life as a silver cord that comes into the top of our head and anchors in our heart. At the time of death, this silver cord is severed. This tiny connection to Source has been the norm for the majority of humankind for a very long time. But throughout human history, there have also been those individuals whose connection to Source was greater than the norm. We call them spiritual masters. We see them as being different than us, blessed, special. They are found in every culture and religion. They are each unique and different, and yet they all share one common trait. All of them, while doing all the things that must be done to sustain their physical body, consciously expanded their connection to Source to the point that it could be perceived by others. They learned how to allow Source to live through their outer self. We all have this ability to expand our connection to Source. I believe it is why we are here. We access our connection to Source through our heart, specifically our heart chakra. If the heart chakra is closed, it must be opened before we can proceed. Overtone frequencies are a fast way to accomplish this. My video, The Art of Inner Peace, explains this in detail. And if you need support, there is a chakra sound treatment available on my website that will do the trick. To get into our heart and experience Source, we need to get out of our head. For most of us, our thoughts and beliefs are our most precious possessions. They are our very identity. But when learning how to consciously access Source, they are an obstacle. This is because communion with Source is not a thought. It is an experience. Like smelling a rose, it is a present moment, no thought, non-verbal experience. I find the easiest way to quiet my intellect and get into my heart is found in nature. The beauty and harmony create an effortless experience of oneness with Source. Learning how to consciously access Source does require some alone time at first. We are all unique, so each person's experience will be different. And because this is something we learn on our own, I can only give hints and point you in the right direction. But once learned, you will be able to consciously access Source anytime, anywhere, regardless of outer circumstances, in less than a second. The act of connecting to Source is similar to calling a friend on the phone. First, we feel the desire to connect. If that desire is strong enough, we make a decision and take action, which means we stop what we are doing and carve out the time to fit it in. Then we find a phone. We initiate the connection by dialing the numbers that are specific to our friend. We press send, and then we listen, open and receptive, expecting to get an answer. When our friend picks up, we know we have made the connection not just because we hear their voice, but also because we feel their presence. This tactile sensation of being in their energy field is the connection. Consciously connecting to Source is the same. The desire to connect must be strong enough to motivate us to take the time to do it. The device we use to make the connection is our heart. Instead of dialing specific numbers, the frequency needed to initiate a connection to Source is the feeling of gratitude. Once we generate a feeling of gratitude, we send it out the top of our head through the silver cord to Source. Then we wait, open, receptive, listening. We keep our attention on Source until we feel its presence. This feeling is tangible, like the presence of our friend. Again, each person's experience will be unique, but generally, source energy feels calm and safe. It gives us the feeling that everything is going to be all right. And most significantly, we no longer feel that we are alone. Source is always there, always available, always ready to give help, comfort, and guidance. If the energy you contact does not feel kind and loving, it is not Source. You are in your head. Stop and bring your attention back to your heart. Source does not withhold itself from us, ever. If we can't feel a connection, the resistance lies in us. We are the ones who have cut ourselves off and who are now learning how to open our heart and consciously reconnect. It's important to understand that because of free will, conscious communion with Source is not automatic. It is something that we must initiate again and again. Don't get discouraged when you find yourself cut off. Just reconnect. Like every relationship, your relationship with Source will evolve. In the beginning, most of us only remember to consciously connect when there is a crisis. But soon we start remembering to connect when we feel alone. Then negative emotions remind us. Then we start checking in for advice on our business, our relationships, and even our finances. The more we connect, the more our capacity to receive that light increases, and the more we change. Source is our inner guidance. It is our intuition, our inspiration, our creativity. Source is our higher self. It's also important to understand that being cut off from Source is more than just a habit. Almost everyone around us is also cut off. The simple act of watching the news overwhelms us with negative emotions. These emotions cut us off from Source. It's impossible to feel anger and peace at the same time. Countless books tell us that we can control our negative emotions by controlling our thoughts. This doesn't work. It's a temporary fix that can't be sustained. What does work is taking our attention off of whatever is provoking us and consciously placing it on Source. Then, once our consciousness is connected to Source, the negative emotion shifts, our perceptions change, and our behavior alters. When we consciously access Source, pain stops, even though the outer situation that created our suffering has not altered one bit. From this place of calm well-being, we receive insights and illumination, not only about the immediate circumstances. We discover the cause behind the cause, our unresolved emotional issues, and inaccurate beliefs that created the condition in the first place. We gain understanding that allows us to forgive ourselves and others. We receive ideas about what we can do to shift things. Even physical pain is reduced when we consciously access Source, because fear is replaced by trust. A deeper explanation of this is available in my book, OS.IAM Consciousness. It is possible to integrate this state of communion with Source into our daily lives. Countless spiritual masters have demonstrated this. It requires that we learn how to discriminate the difference between our inner guidance and our outer intellect. My video, The Inner Self, explains this in greater detail. Being connected to Source is like floating in a raft on a sea of human suffering. It is a way to be in the world, but not of it. Intellectually understanding how to connect is not enough. To experience this, you must stop and do it. These words, "The kingdom of God is within you," express a universal wisdom that has been echoed throughout human history. They are a truth that transcends culture and religious doctrine. These words are a map to human evolution. Just as the worm becomes a butterfly, the journey of transformation and self-mastery is our destiny. Consciously connecting to Source is step 3 of the OS.IAM Consciousness technique. There is much more, but even if you only mastered this one step, it will change your life forever. I hope this video has been helpful. Thank you for watching. If you subscribe to this channel, you will be notified when new videos are released. All the video referrals mentioned in this video are on my channel. To find them, type my name in the YouTube search box. I wish you the best on your journey. God bless you.